Hey everyone, Johnny Trucking here. I'm finally back to do what I've been wanting to do for a while now, which is give you a little bit of a truck tour of the new truck that I'm driving. I'm driving a 2023 Volvo VNL300 day cab series. As you can see, I no longer have a sleeper cab anymore. So, and so I've been with this truck now for about 3 weeks. It's a pretty nice truck, to be honest. It's a little dirty right now. We don't usually get the chance to take them to get cleaned very often, so I don't know when we're gonna get the chance to do that again. But yeah, this is it right here. This is how it looks out from the front. Very nice looking. I mean, like I said, it's just dirty right now, but as soon as I get it cleaned up, it'll look a lot nicer. But yeah, so what it looks like on the outside. I'm gonna go ahead and come out a little bit so you can see it, get a good look at it. Not bad, pretty good. Brand new tires, obviously. Everything's new on this thing. These Volvos are pretty slick looking. I mean, I've seen a couple of these out there in the wild, and I like the way that they look. They look very, very clean and sleek. Uh, one of the nice things on the outside before I go on the inside and then we get under the hood is that I do like that the tires, the drives on these, it's not silver singles. It's two sets of four, or excuse me, four sets of two. So they're splits. They're not super singles like the international that I had with MVT was. So what I like about these is that they do come equipped with self-inflation systems on each axle. So one here, and then two on the other side. So really, the only thing I really need to do daily is just make sure that there's it's pumping air, and that there's not any kind of obstructions or anything in the tires or anything when I'm doing my checks and stuff like that. Like I said, it's just really dirty right now. Or mind the dirtiness, but we have to park in a dirt mud yard, so this is why these things get dirty really really quick. But yeah, I do like the self inflation system on those. That's really really nice. That keeps me a little bit more, gives me a little bit more confidence that the air is being kept up in these tires versus me having to check them manually every day and then having to go and take them to a truck stop to get uh, aired up. Now, in the case that the inflation system stopped working, I mean, we would have to get that fixed and obviously go from there. Fuel tanks are instead of having fuel tanks that are 100 each, these are 75-gallon fuel tanks. So one here and then one on the other side, and it does mean that I do have to fill up a little bit more often than what I was used to, but it's okay because it's a daily run anyways. Of course, you still have the def tank. Def tank is still huge. Still, I think a 16 gallon tank in this thing. So I typically don't have to refill def very often. But fuel wise, diesel, yes, I do have to fill that up pretty often. Like I've said before in a previous video, the rear view mirror is a definite plus when it comes to backing these things up, because I can do blindside backs no problem now. So let's get under the hood real quick so I can show y'all what it looks like under the hood. Well, now y'all know my truck number. That's okay. It's not a big deal. But yeah, let's get under this hood. So I already popped the hood. The issue here, one of the things I did find with this is when I got it. It was already like this, but what I have found based in the community and with the let me put this glove on. Sorry. And just based on a couple of YouTube videos about it, the hood the hood latch cable that's under the hood here that pops the hood open is something that typically does go out often and soon, and it did. And so they kind of jerry rigged it with this little zip tie here that's connected to a little keychain hook in there, and all I got to do is pull this, and it pulls the left side. Now the hood latch is actually under the steering column to pop the hood. Now the right side hasn't busted, but the left side cable busted. I'll show you where here in a minute when I lift this. Let's get under this bad boy. So as you'll see right here, this is what I'm talking about. So right here, this is where normally you'd have the cable that goes, down here to wherever the steering latch thing is. Well, that busted. So when that busted, they kind of jerry rigged it with the little keychain thing here, and then this goes to a zip tie that leads all the way over here to the steps that All you gotta do is pull it to pop it open. It is what it is until the company decides they want to get that completely fixed. But I mean, it's working right now. It's not a big deal. And to me, I almost feel like, well, do you want to put another? Do you want to pay all that money to put another cable here so that it could just bust again? Might as well just leave it like that, in my opinion. But hey, I don't know. But anyways, of course, brand new tires. These front ones don't have self-inflation systems, so I do have to check them periodically to make sure that they have air and all that. All that good stuff. Everything the brake systems and everything is pretty much about the same as you'd normally see in any other truck. Everything is once you see under one truck, you kind of get the idea for what they all kind of look like. But this is not a Packard engine. This is actually a Volvo engine. So for the first time, I'm not driving something that has a Packard engine. So, but everything else is still in the same locations. Your oil locations, your power steering fluid box and power steering fluid. Um, you know, Everything's pretty much almost in the same places. I mean, you can pretty much trace everything down more or less. But this Volvo engine, it's a has a nice little green paint on it. It's a 12-speed engine, and it's a Haas, man. I mean, it's an NR3 32561. That's the chassis ID, but I believe it's like a D1, a D13N. I think that's what these things are called. But anyways, I think this thing will look a lot nicer, clean. It's pretty dirty, but you still have your fuse boxes. Everything is pretty much almost in the same place. I mean, like I said, you can pretty much trace everything to about the same areas that you normally would any other truck. If you ever have any issues or you ever have any kind of like inclinations that there's something wrong, everything's pretty easy to follow. Everything is pretty much in the same locations. It has the same kind of stuff, things like that. Your oil pan is down here, so it's easy to identify oil leaks or anything that you might have there. Let's go to the other side here before I close it back up, just to see what the other side looks like here real quick, so that you can see that the other side is pretty much the same thing. This is where you have your fuel or water separator here. It's over here. In this truck, it was over here. And all the other trucks I've ever driven, it's usually been on the other side, but it's over here on this one. But it's the same thing. It has a little valve there. If you want to release the water, you can release the water. That right there, obviously your coolant. Now on this truck, I'm on the last truck that I was in. I think I showed y'all. I think it was moved towards the back. This one's over here in the front. So back over here in the front again. And then, of course, your turbos over here. All that fun stuff there. Belts, all of that, Nothing too special on this side, just, your normal run-of-the-mill, engine stuff. All your air filters are up here. But, yeah, not too bad. I mean, it's got the same turbo. It's got a Volvo turbo on this one. Everything's Volvo on this thing. Nothing is not Volvo brand, it seems. I mean, a brand new truck, but I mean, this thing's a Haas, man. It does roll pretty well. As you can see over here on this side, this thing's got see how it's got the cable there, right here. The other one didn't. The other one busted, so that's why it doesn't pop open. But yeah, it's a really nice truck. So let's go ahead and close it back up. And just close it back up. And I'm really sorry about it being this dirty. I usually don't do these videos like this when it's dirty because it just makes me look like I don't care about the truck. I do. We just can't, like, we don't have time to take them to wash, and we don't have a terminal with a wash bay, so it kind of like, what else do? I don't have enough time to stop and wash it, and then we don't have a terminal with a wash bay, so what do? Eventually, I'm sure they'll have us take them, but they don't have to be whenever they decide. But anyways, this is the inside. So the inside, obviously, it's not going to take that long because there's not a sleeper cab. There's not a sleeper cab like there was in the other one. So I mean, this is pretty much it. This is what a day cab looks like. You get two seats. You get a little center area that's open here. I filled it out with just things that I like to bring with me when I truck drive. So I brought my little crate. My little crate thing has all of my, quick essential things: flashlights, paper towels, cleaning supplies, uh, pens, pencils, um, any kind of little things that I might keep like in a dash. I put them in this little crate here, and of course my gloves. So like easy access things, right? And then over there I have my actual tool bag that I have all of my general tools that I need, that I could need. Don't necessarily need them every day, but I could need them if I had to do some minor repair or anything like that. And then trash bag, day bag. I bring up a couple of things, my camera stuff. Jackets, things like that. I usually keep in my little day bag. That doesn't stay in here. That comes with me out every day. Um, and then just another bag with a couple of just extra, like cleaning stuff, things like that, just to have over there. And then of course here's the rest of it. I mean, nothing too much about. This is how what it looks like in the inside of it. You know, pretty much almost the same as most trucks. The Volvo is really, really nice looking on the inside. Nice big old Volvo logo on the steering wheel, of course. It's got this one, of course, being it's a newer truck. It's got all the nice quick button options on the steering column. Um, Up here, room for a radio. I'm not gonna put one. It's for like I need to, but I did want to show y'all some different things that I found that are kind of neat versus some of the other trucks that I've driven, and it's mostly just gonna be like stuff that I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like it's not necessities, but it's kind of neat. One of the things is I do like that the power supplies for different electronics and whatnot are up here up top. So you have USBs up top, and then of course you got the cigarette lighter power thing up here. You got the set up here. You got another one up here if you need it, and then of course you have another one down here. That's down. You have another one that's down here. The only USB ones though are just right here. These are the only ones that are actually USB. Everything else is cigarette. Is like cigarette port or whatever. Um, and then of course you can use, if you want to plug in straight to the radio, you can do that too and use that, and it'll also charge your phone or tablet or whatever that you have. But yeah, now I do like that it's up here so that it makes it a lot easier to run your cabling. So this way you don't have to like run a cable from down here and then like route it, kind of like what I did here with this thing. But anyways, like, you know what I mean? Like if you're gonna, like for me, I'm on my phone over here on this side here, so I don't have to take the cable and like plug in something down here and then run it all the way, or run it under and then run it over. I literally just have to plug it in, drop the cable up there, and then just use what I need right here. And so I never really have to zip tie anything, because I can't, because if I didn't tell you that I didn't like cable manage this cable that ends up over here, you wouldn't even know that I didn't put no Velcro straps, no zip ties or anything. I literally just kind of dropped the cable and tucked it down there because, I mean, you have the room for it. So, but yeah, and then another one of the like just kind of interesting features that I like on this truck that wasn't available on other trucks that I drove is the sun visor for the driver's side. So if you ever come to a spot where you have the sun about right here in this area right here, and it hits right there, it'll hit kind of your eye level. It's very easy just to pull this thing out and pull it down, and now you have a sunblock, and you can kind of move it around a little bit, left or right, depending on where the sun's at. Now, obviously, once the sun gets about right here, you're kind of screwed, but it is what it is. But it at least helps for things like sunrise and sundown, because when the sun gets to about this point is when it's usually its brightest, and it'll annoy the fuck out of you. And so I like that in the mornings, because I drive in the mornings now mostly, that once the sun kind of hits this spot right here, I can kind of put this up if I'm driving that way, and it'll help block it. And then of course it's easy just to slide it back, slide it up, and then store it back, and it won't like flop open like randomly. These are also very much. Some visors are also much longer than they are in most other trucks. Um, but yeah, man, I mean, this thing's pretty sweet, pretty nice. It's got a little bit of storeroom behind the seats every night, and then of course you get these two little compartments here to put documents or whatever else you kind of want to stuff in to these little baskets here. But yeah, if you're gonna drive a day cab, I would recommend bringing like bags or crates like I did, just to kind of store things so that things just kind of just aren't on the floor rolling around and stuff like that. Keep it secure, because you are going to still need things, and it's much better to keep them in crates or in tool bags because it keeps them from moving and all of that fun stuff. But yeah, because you don't get any, typically in day cabs, you don't really get much storeroom, so you have to create your own a little bit. You don't get no glove compartments, you don't get no undercarriages like you would in a sleeper cab, when you'd have the side door where you can open and store, your cleaning stuff, your brooms and things like that. So you're gonna have to store everything in here, and you want to make it look at least as neat as possible, because if you get pulled over by a DOT officer and he looks inside and he sees like a whole mess of stuff on the floor, he is more than likely not going to like that, and you're going to end up with a level 3 inspection more than likely. But yeah, this thing's got 40 right now. It's got 49,000 miles on it. It's a really, really, really nice truck. I really enjoy driving it. It drives really easy, as you saw me drive the other day with it. It's governed at 70, so going 70 down the highway is a hell of a lot better than 64 or 65. It's pretty nice, man. But this thing does, for being, I mean, obviously, it's what's about under the hood versus the size of the truck a lot of the times. So I mean, this thing runs well. It's efficient. I typically have it running at about 7 to 7.5 miles per gallon on fuel. That's just because I typically will gun at 70 most of the way. So yeah, I'm gonna average about 7, and so, but it's still not bad. It's still pretty good. Runs well, doesn't shifts well, doesn't stutter. Um, I mean, I enjoy driving this Volvo truck. I'm easily becoming a big fan of Volvo trucks. They're moving really, really high on my list of trucks that I've driven at this point. Of course, and I've driven 4 different trucks, like I've said before: Volvo, Kenworth, International, and a Freightliner. And out of all of them, I mean, Volvo's becoming almost number one. I do like how these things drive. It's a very smooth drive. Um, Very low lag, very low, like it's just very, very nice. Very good handling. I do like all of the extra, like the little extra features, but it's really, really nice. Like I got can't. I mean, the sound. I mean, this is more cosmetic than anything else, but the sound system is actually very nice as well. So everything's good. I like this truck. AC works. That's always, you always want a truck that has a good AC. And of course, like I said, like most trucks, it has all the different kinds of features. This one also has a sliding fifth wheel. So if I wanted to slide the fifth wheel, I could. Suspension drop, all of that. And then, of course, the gear shifter is over here. So instead of it being up here, which most people do, we'll set them up kind of up here in this area, it's actually right here on the seat. And so all you got to do is, shift it. It's automatic, so you just shift to where you want to go. And then, of course, it's got a couple of different drive modes. So it's got economy plus, and then performance. So you can change the drive mode depending on how you want to drive. And then, of course, if you want to drive manual, you can. And all you got to do, but you will have to shift it from down here with the plus and the minus, to upshift and downshift. But I mean, I don't think, why would you want to do that, in my opinion. But yeah, the gear shifts down here. Everything else though is pretty much your standard truck stuff. So, but yeah, guys, I just thought I'd give you a little tour of my truck. From what I understand, this is my truck until I decide to leave the company. So as long as I'm with this company, this is probably going to be my truck, for this foreseeable future, unless I decide to go and do the OTR routes that they have. But I don't think I want to do that anytime soon, because I'm really enjoying what I do right now. I'm in Laredo. I'm about to get loaded. Once I get loaded, then I take off back to San Antonio, and my day ends. But yeah, guys, appreciate y'all coming with me as usual. If you have any questions about the Volvo truck that I may not have answered in this tour, you know what to do. Just feel free to leave me comments. I'll reply to them as fast as I can. Remember to like, subscribe, ring the bell. I'll see y'all very, very soon down the road. Peace out.